Marriage of convenience. That is how Morgan Tsvangirai, Zimbabwe's Prime Minister, describes his country's power-sharing agreement with Robert Mugabe. A general election is due in Zimbabwe this year, and in a moment we'll be hearing more from Mr. Tsvangirai. First, a look at how this political pairing came to be.
1980. Zimbabwe gains its independence from Britain, and guerrilla leader Robert Mugabe wins the country's first parliamentary election. He's ruled the country ever since. Among Mugabe's early and most ardent supporters was Morgan Tsvangirai, an ambitious union leader who has since become his fiercest rival, leading strikes and forming his own political party. During his bid for the presidency in 2002, Tsvangirai was accused of treason in a suspected plot to assassinate Mugabe, but was later acquitted of the charges.
It was not Morgan Tsvangirai who was on trial, it was democracy and the freedoms of the people of Zimbabwe.
Undeterred, Tsvangirai continued to challenge Mugabe, and in 2007 was arrested on his way to an anti-government rally and severely beaten in police custody.
This physical threat or physical harm to individuals, me included, has not had any effect at all in discouraging further work of the opposition.
Indeed, a year later, he claimed victory in the presidential election with a majority vote over Mugabe, though it ended in farce with the Electoral Commission calling for a runoff poll.
We in the MDC have resolved that we will no longer participate in this violent, illegitimate sham of an election process.
In the end, a compromise. Mugabe remained president and Tsvangirai was declared prime minister in a power-sharing agreement that, to say the least, has been uneasy.
Do it. Morgan Tsvangirai is in London. I asked him earlier to explain the reasons for entering into that power-sharing agreement with Robert Mugabe 5 years ago. This is what he said.
It was a bleak situation, and I think what was important at that stage was to intervene and save the country. So what were the objectives? Firstly, is to contain the hyperinflation contingent and stabilize the economy. Secondly, to reform, to give reforms that will be necessary to carry out a free and fair election. And thirdly, to intervene in those critical social sectors like water, sanitation, education and health. So on those three benchmarks, I can tell you that anyone will confirm that things are much better than they were in 2008.
Many people I speak to in Zimbabwe, with respect, are frankly fed up with your leadership. They say that you have compromised the power-sharing agreement. There are stories about your social life, there are stories about your finances. So some go so far as to say that you have legitimized Robert Mugabe. Does your MDC party and do you still have any teeth?
Well, let's look at it this way. The MDC was formed to achieve a certain benchmark. We have gone through a roadmap that we have designed, we have outlined for ourselves. What are we going to do to confront this crisis? Firstly, we said we're going to apply pressure to drag Mugabe to the negotiating table. We're going to negotiate a transition. We're going to have a constitution, and we're going to go to a free and fair election. So far, the three steps have been achieved. We are on the rail on the objectives that we set for ourselves. Now, when people criticize, they want us to go back to the confrontational stage. We are part of the government. There's no way we can be confrontational when we have set a path for ourselves.
Well, let me put this to you again. They don't want to see, it seems to me, your social life and your finances making headlines when, for so many years, people in Zimbabwe and on the outside world relied on you as this sort of official opposition figure who might be able to take Mugabe down. At this stage, do you think you're still in a position to do that, or is it now time for a new generation of Zimbabwean leaders?
Well, I think that I cannot determine. I mean, the determination of who is going to be leader at any one point is to the people. We go to a Congress and people elect their leaders. I've just come out of a Congress. People still have very good faith in my leadership. But it's not about the personal. It's about the objective. Are you able to take Mugabe down? Let's not be paranoid about an individual. Let's be clear about what the whole roadmap and the objective of why we formed the MDC is all about. It's about change, it's about transformation. Are we on course? Definitely on course. Are we going to deliver this? Definitely we're going to.
Does it include Mugabe or not, though?
No. President Mugabe will be a contestant, just as I will be a contestant. And we will go to the people, and the people will choose.
How would you describe life in Zimbabwe today?
I think there's comparatively better than it was in 2008. People have food, people can actually have real money, people can have stability and normalcy. That was uncharacteristic in 2008.
It's a country worth fighting for.
It's everything worth fighting for.